The 1.1 billion euros plastic gap, a strategic reckoning. The boardroom in the heart of Brussels was silent, the hum of the climate control the only sound against the heavy weight of expectation. Amir, a senior strategist from Webintelligency, adjusted his cufflink before stepping toward the interactive screen. He looked at the gathered C-suite executives of Europe's newest recycling pioneer. "We are here," Amir began, his voice calm but commanding, "to discuss a systemic breakdown." In 2021, the EU's plastic-based own resource revenue was underestimated by 1.1 billion euros. This isn't just a rounding error, it is a structural failure of data and a strategic risk to every player in this room. Amir advanced the slide to a complex flowchart. The root of this 1.1 billion euros gap is the measurement crisis. EU legislation demands waste be measured at the entry to recycling, but a loophole allows member states to measure at the exit of sorting instead. They then apply arbitrary average loss rates that range from 6% to 54%. Our research shows the reality is far grimmer. Currently, only 6 out of 27 member states follow the strict legislative requirements for entry point measurement. For the rest, recycling data is essentially a statistical projection, a black box where materials vanish into thin air. Alara, the startup's CEO, leaned forward, her eyes narrowed as she scanned the data on her private tablet. "The variance is staggering," she noted. Amir nodded, switching the display to a performance heat map of Europe. Indeed, Germany reports a mature 64% recycling rate, yet even they rely on the exit of sorting derogation. At the other end, we see infrastructure collapse. Malta and Cyprus languish at 23%. Greece is in administrative crisis, missing reporting deadlines by months. This creates a fiscal cliff where the poorest performers are penalized the most heavily by the 80 cents per kilogram tax. This fragmentation isn't unique to Europe, Amir continued, pulling up a comparative analysis. The Canadian parallel shows a similar struggle. Canada's average recycling rate is only 16%, hampered by a patchwork of provincial schemes. However, they are moving toward a digital solution, the Federal Plastics Registry, launching in September 2025. This registry will mandate granular transparency, tracking plastic from production to end of life. Whether through the EU's financial penalties or Canada's digital tracking, the era of aggregate, unverified statistics is coming to an end. Vectis, the CFO, tapped his pen against the table. If the data is this unreliable, what are the chances we're seeing actual criminal activity? Amir's expression grew grave. High. The recycling fraud risk is profound. In some states, producer responsibility organizations, PROs, are forced to pay recyclers subsidies just to accept waste, because recycling is economically unviable. This creates a perverse incentive to declare waste recycled and then sell it for illegal export or incineration. Europol classifies plastic waste trafficking as a significant global threat, often linked to organized crime. Amir shifted the tone toward innovation. To navigate this, you must look beyond traditional mechanical recycling. The Israeli deep tech ecosystem offers 4 transformative pathways. First, UBQ Materials converts unsorted household waste, organic and plastic alike, into a high-performance bioplastic substitute. Second, Tipicorp has mastered fully compostable flexible packaging that mimics the barrier properties of conventional films but returns to the earth in 180 days. These solutions don't just manage the waste, they design out the liability entirely. Alara picked up a sample of a rigid material from the center of the table. "This is from the 3rd and 4th innovators?" she asked. "Precisely," Amir replied. Plastic back uses chemical oxidation to break down hard-to-recycle polymers like PVC into synthetic crude oil. Meanwhile, Melodia produces cellulose nanocrystal coatings derived from wood pulp. These coatings allow paper-based packaging to achieve oxygen and moisture barriers equivalent to plastic, enabling a complete shift to the paper recycling stream. which is far more reliable and mature than the plastic infrastructure. Strategic compliance is no longer optional, Amir warned, bringing up the CSRD requirements. Under the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, specifically ESRS E2 and E5, your reporting must be auditable. The ECA audit reveals that relying on national statistics or PRO data is a liability. If your PRO claims a 50% recycling rate, but the actual data is later revised down, your company faces retroactive tax exposure and potential litigation for material misstatements. You must be prepared for data validation audits that go all the way to the recycler's door. Vectis looked at the country-level risk analysis. So Greece and Malta are high-risk zones for our supply chain? Exactly, Amir said. But even Germany and the Netherlands carry export verification risks. Webintelligency recommends a 3-pillar operational strategy. First, implement entry to recycling traceability using digital product passports. Second, diversify your materials with the deep tech solutions we've discussed to bypass mechanical bottlenecks. Third, conduct independent audits of your PRO's downstream partners. Don't take their certificates at face value. Amir closed the presentation as a final slide appeared: 2030, accountability. By the end of this decade, the black box of plastic waste will be a relic. Global systems are converging toward a future where every kilogram of plastic is linked to a specific company and a verified end-of-life outcome. Your choice is simple: lead through innovation and traceability, or be buried under the rising cost of unverified waste. The 1.1 billion euros gap was the first warning. Let it be the last one you ignore. Alara stood and reached out a hand. Let's get to work, Amir.